Okay, guys, how are you today? Making another video. I haven't done one in a couple days, and for that I apologize. But I wanted to make a video talking about a current event, something that happened in Texas. Texas sucks, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Okay, this is kind of a gun story, so I'll tell you about this. There's this guy who, was at his home sleeping at night, and the cops decided that they were going to have a surprise drug raid on his house. And they showed up at his house, totally unannounced, but had a warrant, and they kicked his window in. And when they kicked his window in and started, coming in, the guy freaked out and shot one of the cops in the face. R.I.P. Now, however tragic that may be in your point of view, I can't say I'm too awfully surprised that he got shot in the face. I mean, you kick someone's door in or window or whatever, and you come in there totally unannounced in the evening while they're asleep. Don't be surprised if they get freaked out and shoot you in the face. Well, I guess you wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you'd be dead. But, yeah, that's a thing that happened recently. And right now the guy is being held in jail on capital murder charges, although, as far as I know, he hasn't been charged yet. So yeah, that's what happened in Texas. Great state of Texas. Yeah. I guess, I hope this is probably going to happen, but it's probably going to blow up into another huge gun debate. And I hate those so much. If you're thinking about going out and shooting up a bunch of people just because you want to get a point across, or, your voice has gone unheard and no one's paying attention to you, don't do it, and I'll tell you why. Because no one's going to talk about you for very long. You'll probably get about 15 minutes of airtime, and then all your actions will have done would be to provoke a discussion. It's like, do we need more guns or less guns? And that's all it's going to be. That is what you killing all those people did, was just fire up another debate that's stupid and fills airtime. So killing a bunch of people is a bad idea for that reason alone. There's no other reason for not killing people other than it's illegal. So yeah. But where do I stand on the whole gun debate? I'm pretty left-wing generally, but I think that if someone wants to own a gun, I mean, it's in the Constitution. There's no reason why you shouldn't be allowed to. Granted, you are not a convicted felon or whatever. Pretty much, if you're just like an average law-abiding citizen, you should be legally allowed to own a gun. I mean, and I don't even differentiate. Like, if you want an assault rifle, go out and get the biggest assault rifle you can find. I mean, I admit that I do not need an AK-47 to protect my family, but the fact that I can legally own one is pretty cool. And it's the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Needs. So yeah, that's where I stand on it. Yeah, if you want a gun, go get one. But I think there should be we do need some regulation. There should be a law on a federal level of the process and requirements that you need to get a gun. Because some places it is a lot easier than others, and I'll explain. And this is just one example. There's a lot of ways you can get a gun. But one example is in Texas, when I lived there, you could take your ID and you could go to granted you were 18, I think. You had to be at least 18 to own a firearm. Maybe it was 21. But you go up and you put your ID on the counter, and you're like, hey, dude, I want to buy a gun. They're like, okay. So they go and they take your ID and they call someone. Not exactly sure who, but it takes about 10-15 minutes, and if your record checks out fine, you get a gun. You're like, you're like, okay, we can sell you a gun. Well, that's cool and all, but in Illinois, it's a little bit different. First, you have to have a firearms owner identification card, or a FOID card. You have to be at least 18 to get a shotgun or a rifle, and you got to be 21 if you want a handgun. And usually you have to take some kind of hunter safety course or firearm course if you want to get one of these cards. Like, that's preferred. At least that's how it was when I did it. And there's a waiting period. I think the maximum's 10 days for getting a gun. Now, that's completely reasonable in my book. That gives them plenty of time to check you out to make sure you can own a gun. We should have that system. I like that system a lot more than just calling and them being all like, oh yeah, you can get a gun. But the people who want guns are going to get them anyway. It doesn't even matter what laws you pass on it. There's a big enough black market for drugs, guns, people. You can pretty much find it anywhere. If you want something, you can find it. So yeah, any new regulation is going to be pretty pointless. But yeah, I guess that was today's video. Why don't you have yourself a good day? And I'll sit here with my e-cig and half of a beer that I have. Beer is good and stuff. Goodbye. Find the stop recording button.